I've done this entire collection on my channel before on YouTube a few years ago, but I wanted to do it again because it's that much of a good game. And we're going through all three of the entire collection to see if I can do it again, I guess. Because when I originally played it, it was one of those types of games where I just enjoyed playing it. It had the right amount of horror, it had the right amount of kind of atmosphere. The atmosphere in this game was great. You had to balance between sanity, using your lantern and all that to avoid the enemies. Back when this game first came out, I don't think there was any other games that did that, but basically you're taking the ability to fight back, so you're instilling more fear into the player to run rather than fight. Like most other games where they essentially just give you the tools and the weapons and all that, but in this game it doesn't, so let's hop straight into the Dark Descent.
Don't forget, some things mustn't be forgotten. The shadow hunting me. I must hurry. My name is Daniel. I live in London at Mayfair. What have I done? This is crazy. Don't forget. Don't forget. I must stop him. Focus. My name is...
Oh, that's what
I am Daniel.
Well, look at terrifying source. So what, I think that's what's meant by commentary. I think what commentary is it tells you the game development and all that. That's about it. Stone castle creaking. I always found the way they did the camera angle like kind of weird, but it adds to it. Like what other game does that, you know? I'm gonna seriously compare this game to others. Around for stuff. And standing in darkness, the sun and dew started draining till unless the environment the tinderboxes are stood for the sources of light. Just keep that closed, I'm sorry. I think it's this one, yeah. So you can see it's got a slight headache, my health is all good. Return done. So I have to be careful the amount I'm using as well. Sanity's dropping again.
19th of August, 1839. I wish I could ask how much you remember. I don't know if there will be anything left after I consume this drink. Don't be afraid, Daniel. I can't tell you why, but know this. I choose to forget. Try to find comfort and strength in that fact. There is a purpose. You are my final effort to put things right. God willing, the name Alexander of Brandenburg still invokes bitter anger in you. If not, this will sound horrible. Go to the inner sanctum, find Alexander, and kill him. His body is old and weak, and yours, young and strong. He will be no match for you. One last thing. A shadow is following you. It's a living nightmare, breaking down reality. I have tried everything, and there is no way to fight back. You need to escape it as long as you can. Redeem us both, Daniel. Descend into the darkness where Alexander waits and murder him. Your former self, Daniel.
Let's have the video out, that's pretty cool. See, now that I've made progress, my sanity increases. So that's fragrant taste of rose lingered in his mouth. Turkish delights, he thought, just like the ones at Consulate in Constantinople. Turkish delights are really good though.
Alexander, is it inside the castle?
In a manner of speaking. Come, bring the lamp. You've been to the refinery, have you not?
I don't believe I have. Is it connected to the... what did you call it?
The inner sanctum. My most precious chamber, Daniel. And it lies well beyond the refinery. In fact, it lies beneath the very stone of Brandenburg.
I love wasting the annoying after a while. Laboratory. Your children, cheered him on, his voice and his steadily rising pace urged him to do it. I must really do unless the young boy thought. I struck his victim with a walk.
There should be more coop racks. Let me see. And one part aquaforce.
God, that's annoying. I don't really understand. The lack of a chimney to properly vent the fumes from the most recent experiments has taken its toll on many of my less stable ingredients in storage. Some seem unaffected, but many are stained by the fumes and will be difficult to salvage. So do what I can and move them to the wine cellar. This is my third attempt to produce artificial vitae. Former compounds lack the potency I need. But since I'm close, calamine and orpiment are given and the cuproid bond as well. This time I will attempt aqua regia instead of aqua fortis and hope to produce a more even solution. The experiment was unsuccessful. The solution is highly acidic and proves impractical to use in any practical to put to any use except as a detergent. Again, tissue reacts especially violently to solution and should be handled with the greatest care. I might be able to use the recipe, but I'm losing hope and will find an alchemic solution to my predicament.
May 1839. The unflinching African sun has continued to plague our expedition, making it impossible to dig until dusk. How Professor Herbert managed to find the location in these vast plains of nothingness remains a mystery to me. When I asked him about the tomb again, he told me about the legend of Tin Hanan, the mother of us all. An interesting story in its own right, but I can't help feeling there's more. Later that evening, we uncovered a passage beneath the dunes leading to a sand-covered stone structure. The professor was confident it was the tomb we sought and ordered the others to clear the way late into the dark, cold night. Tomorrow, I shall lead the men into the ancient structure, hoping to reach the burial chamber. No matter what the professor is keeping from me, the dig should yield something interesting to take back to London and the British Museum.
Huh.
17th of May, 1839. My hands tremble as I write. I feel a need to document my tribulation, for I fear that my memory will fail me if I linger. Today, I took some men and ventured into the dark, ancient passage we uncovered. Our torches burned faintly in the murky air as we slowly made our way underground. The men were superstitious and fearful. They argued loudly, and I felt their strange language getting to me. I mustered my strength and yelled at them to continue down the slopes and broken steps. The crudely carved passage confused me. It looked much older than the 4th century structure we had expected. The twisting path emerged into a great antechamber. The walls were lined with statues unlike any I'd ever seen. Despite their unearthly quality, I felt a strange familiarity toward them, which haunts me still. At the far end of the chamber, a great slab of stone sealed off whatever lay ahead. I gave the order to raise it, and as I pushed through the narrow space, the heavy stone suddenly dropped, sealing me inside. I was trapped.
Don't believe in me. It wasn't me. Oh, nice. Oh. Give yourself a paper cut or something, mate.
17th of May, 1839. After pounding the unforgiving stone wall for what seemed like an eternity, I realized it was hopeless. I was trapped. I fell to the ground, gasping for air, trying to focus. That's when I saw a faint blue shimmer. My weakened body was heavy to carry, but I managed to push myself toward the enchanting light. It was waiting for me. Enclosed in dark nothingness, I felt myself drawn to the mystic light. I reached out, closing it in my hands. The faint glow escaped my fingers and began to spark brightly and spirit me away. unlocking alien memories of spiraling towers, endless deserts, and impossible geometry. The next thing I can remember is the grating sound of stone being lifted, the voices of the Arabs pulling me to safety, and grasped firmly in my hands was the broken pieces of a most peculiar relic.
There seems to be a lot of things that they found.
Much of the castle is old and hasn't been tended to for centuries. When the shadow arrives, it won't take long until things start falling apart.
We're just buying time anyway. Let's do what we can.
There isn't much to be done about the wards. We should reinforce weak structures. The ground will tremble and there's a risk everything will cave in on us, especially downstairs. Here, and there. Let's get the servants working on it.
Kind of glad not bringing that chest with me, you know? Come on, chef. I didn't even hit the wall, but sure, a wooden chair can do that.
You have to be swift when you activate the first one. You hear that? If it stops, you'll have to start over.
Isn't all this a bit excessive?
You can never be too careful, Daniel.
Wait, for fuck's sake. There we go. It took way too long. Alstad and the Brandenburg Castle, 1801. Another region rich with law is Alstad. Given in the East Prussian forest, for centuries there have been stories surrounding the hamlet and its neighbour, Castle Brandenburg. So look at where we're in Alstad then. In Prussian? Whereabouts is Prussian? Forest-clad mountains dressed with scattered lakes is as picturesque as it can be, albeit the area is haunted by the dark. Asking the locals to hear proof of the widespread superstition. Excuse me. All travellers indulge themselves in such conversation since it was certainly serves as exciting entertainment. All of them have their own twists and tales, but there are some motives that keep reappearing. The gatherers. This story reaches all the way back to the time of the 30 Years' War. It is said that the soldiers who abandon their duty get lost in the cold dark woods and are forever damned to roam the grounds. Their bodies, wrought by their tainted souls, have left them disfigured and empty of essence. Many have cited them over the years and described them as horrid revenants. Interesting. They move silently through the woods, shying away from any beholder. They are called gatherers, as they seem to follow some ambition to steal living creatures. It is their prey, which can be heard struggle inside damp burlap sacks, direct behind them, which reveal their presence. What dark scheme will they follow? Visit undone. Heinrich Cornelius Agrippa. A well-known... what is with these really fucking irritating words, like Jesus, erudite. Visited Alstad at the beginning of the 16th century. He resided in the local inn for a fortnight, as he looked for remnants of kingdoms past. Fortnights in 2 weeks, not fortnights in that fucking game. During his stay, all the prominent members of society paid notice, and he is mentioned in many records of the time. One day he went to investigate a burrow in the northwestern glades, only to never be seen again. Heinrich is known to have passed away in Grenoble some 10 years later. He dismissed the notion of every visitor in Alstad, which makes you wonder what really happened. Who was this mysterious man who visited the sleepy hamlet in the woods, and what happened to him? The immortal Baron. The Baron of Brandenburg lives in a reclusive life with his family at his castle nearby Alstad, and like most of those noble birds, rumours are inherited alongside with the title. Research in the history reveals little before the castle was consumed by fire in the late 16th century. which was built by Alexander, a nobleman from the Rhineland, claiming the role as protector of the Prussian state. Alexander helped the region to flourish and remain popular throughout his presumed lifetime. The family had always been secretive when it came to lineage and heritage, therefore the birth and death of Alexander and his offspring has never been fully recorded. This has led the idea that the Baron is in fact one and the same, who came from the west over 300 years ago, lived through the time of occupation and joined the coveted order of the Black Eagle, along with the great leaders of this country. Yeah, some more folklore for you. Oh, I keep pressing X to use and it's not X. 4 different chemicals. Looks like I'm missing one chemical. Where's that last chemical then? Stairs to collapse, find a way to climb back up. Jesus Christ, who the fuck made this? Seriously. Shoddy buildsman. You. Parkour. Apparently this guy can't parkour. Okay. I thought I was in games, I'm cunting about. Grab that box. Quick, here you are, there. Oh fuck. Oh my god. I think being used to Fallout's physics I'm used to do this, but you know, that makes physical sense I guess. There we go, I'm back up. Yeah. Might have missed it. Oh, okay, valve. Oh, my solution wasn't smart enough. Fine game. Okay. Oh, I didn't know me to do that. Oh well, I'll say it anyway. Need to turn on the burners first. What? Heart of acid. Now let's take acid and trip out. So we aren't tripping all over it. Why's it always gonna slap me? I don't know. Yeah. Refinery.
It sure is dark in here.
Yes, and there's a good reason for it. But you can light the lamp now if you wish.
What's the reason? For the darkness, that is.
Stay close. Be careful not to stray.
What's the reason? Why is it so dark?
Pay attention, Daniel. It's important that you keep going straight and make sure not to stray.
22nd of June, 1839. It's been more than a month since my last entry. After the event inside the underground chamber in Algeria, Professor Herbert insisted I return to England. He said he didn't want to risk forfeiting the entire expedition lest I took a turn for the worse. An excessive decision, in retrospect. But I'm glad it turned out that way. I found my journal this morning in the haphazard collection of things brought home from Africa. Next to it lay the broken stone orb wrapped in cloth. I tried to assemble it, but couldn't. The pieces wouldn't fit together, as if they weren't from the same object. Could I have imagined it all? Was there ever a complete orb?
Maybe. Okay.
25th of June, 1839. I feel the need to continue this journal, even though it was intended for my journey to Africa. This must be something very important. I just know it. I've taken it upon myself to piece the orb back together, but it's been more difficult than one might think. The pieces are behaving strangely. They seem to change color, shape, and texture, but ever so slightly. Yesterday, I took careful measurements and notated any significant markings. Today, I confirmed my suspicions. They were changing. I was terrified and rushed off to see the finest geologist in London, Sir William Smith. I approached the subject with care, and we discussed how rocks change form. He told me about the nature of glass, how it eventually collapses on itself, like ice slowly melting over the course of centuries. Smith eased my mind a bit, but I can't escape the feeling that these shards have otherworldly properties.
Right. It's really good. So alright guys. Dude, fucking hell on these plates. Love the music in this game, though. Very Assassin's Creed-esque. Get up on the box. Fucking hell. Yeah, the Bible. pick up the damn thing. Get up on it, oh my god. The little thing where he doesn't get up on it. Hold on. There you go, nice and easy. Open the fucking door. Oh, and look, we've reached into a new area. Oh my god, I remember this. It's so long ago, but I definitely remember this. Yeah.
You have an ascending room. Will it take us to the inner sanctum?
It will definitely take care of the vertical part of our journey. So, you have ridden an elevator before?
Yes, the Colosseum at Regent's Park has one. It takes you to the gallery where you can view the panorama.
Good. This ride might be a little longer, and in the other direction.
Last time we need to go to next. I think you have to go through this room to get him. To get all the nonsense that we need.
Don't forget your bag, Daniel.
I won't, Herbert.
There is no shame in using a parasol in the desert. As it happens, it's imperative to your survival.
But it looks ridiculous.
The shade will hurt much less than dying, I assure you.
like the music though in this game. But yeah, I think we're gonna leave it here for now. Save and exit. So next time I stream this, I'll continue from that point. But I thank you all for being here. If you have enjoyed, like I said, leave a like, subscribe. Feel free to visit the original series of this. The reason I'm doing it again, because I just really wanted to play Amnesia. It's a great fucking game, I have to admit. I own the collection, so I'll be doing all three again. I remember Justine not being as long, so I could potentially complete that in one stream. But for now, thank you all for being here, and I'll see you all tomorrow for some Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. Like I said, I'm going back to the older games that I used to love, and we'll go from there. Bye for now, see you all tomorrow. And like and here, if you like this type of video, please subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, and of course find me on Twitch, all the links will be in the